Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do another Snow White video. We're going to talk about the box office, how it's looking this weekend, and doesn't look very good. Apparently.
No, and this headline, I saw it earlier where they were talking about how Snow White's going to revive the March box office. It's like,
yeah,
you know.
I don't think so. We're going to go out and look at all the empty seats. Lots of people posting pictures of empty seats. You went to go see it yesterday.
Yeah.
Lots of empty seats.
There was only 5 people in the theater. And again, I want to point out that it was an earlier showing, but when we left and it was prime time, there were hardly any cars in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. So we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about how it made less money in previews than the freaking Marvels.
Yeah. Though there's a couple things that are really interesting around this. I want to mention. So
okay. So let's do it. Let's do this thing. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to clownsfishtv.substack.com. Sign up for notifications.
You really got to update that.
I know I do. I got behind, and then we were just trying to get caught up this week. But check it out, and also check out the D-Res news over there. So there we go, Substack. Okay, so tell me do you want to talk about the $3.5 million?
Yeah, so they're going on about that it made $3.5 million in previews. So those who don't know, Thursday, usually they count the day before the actual official opening is previews. So with a lot of films, people usually go the opening day. This is not one of those films. So they only did $3.5 million domestically for previews. The Marvels that bombed in 2023, and everybody knows that's like widely, that was the big turd in 2023.
The big turd, yeah.
For Disney, it did $6.6 million in previews. And then to go even further, the Marvels went on to do $60 million domestically and $80 million globally on the first weekend. So what's like $40 million?
Yeah.
Roughly about. So they did $140 million opening weekend. And they only lasted in theaters 4 weeks until they took it out at $218 million because it was a bomb. This one, they're only expecting it to do like 45 to 55 million domestic maybe. And then they were going to push for $100 million global. And that's still way below the Marvels, which was considered a bomb. And that went off a cliff.
Yeah. So just to show you what's going on here, lots of people posting pictures.
I should have taken a picture too. There was like one person behind us, 2 people across from us, and that was it.
Empty theaters.
Yeah, that's what our theaters look like. There was like literally 5 of us in the theater.
Yeah. Lots of people posting pictures of, showings that are almost empty. This is Kangman Lee posted this. Opening Friday night for Disney's Snow White in IMAX, 1 person.
Gosh, it's not even worth it to the theaters to run the movie for 1 person.
No.
And hire staff.
And the Marvels, they pretty much gave up on that one after the second
4
or third
weeks.
week?
It was 4 weeks, and they had a theater, and it made $218 million total. And they had $140 million opening weekend. And that's more than what they're expecting for Snow White. Yeah,
Prince isn't coming, and nobody else is either.
No.
Look at this. This is not good. So yeah, let's lots of pictures. I mean, I haven't seen a single picture yet of people to own the haters, right? They'll post look at this, look at all these people that showed up for the Snow White movie. I'm not seeing any of those posts because you'd think that people would have.
You're going to see that. I would think tomorrow's your best chance. Tomorrow, Sunday, but tomorrow.
Matinees, kids.
Yeah, tomorrow, because I guess the audience, that's something else Deadline said. The audience for this, kids 12 and under seem to like it. It's mostly girls. The parents are giving it about the same rating I did, which was a 2.5, which is out of 5. I said 5. So that's about what I said. And unless they're bringing their kids, no one really wants to go see this, but they might bring their kids.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is a huge backfire. And again, I mean, I think a lot of it too is, does Snow White actually mean anything to kids today? No. The people that Snow White still had, still relevant to, you've pissed off by making all these changes, and with Rachel Zegler just, literally just opening her mouth, and kids aren't going to be into it either. The dwarves.
The dwarves are kind of scary. I mean, I guess a lot of kids like them, but to me, I can see where they could frighten children because they're weird. And then you have everybody protesting it, depending over the whole, kerfuffle, Middle Eastern kerfuffle.
Interesting thing happened. Apparently, Rachel Zegler had a tribute talking about all her family from the film, and she left Gal Gadot out of.
Wait, so she mentioned like everybody else in the film, but then
everybody else. This is on Instagram.
She's such a little bitch. I'm sorry, but she really is.
Yeah. So she didn't mention her by name. So
did she mention anybody else by name though?
I said that the movie was life changing. It was about 4 years of my career growing up. I did from the age of 20 when I was cast at 23. Cannot be accurately described. Let's see here. Yet they exist here on film forever. Yes, they exist in the headlines, the online headlines forever there too. I became a real adult during the course of this film, learned hard lessons, did hard things, laughed, cried, turned 21, lived across the ocean for my family, made new friends. She basically sounds like she's making excuses for her idiotic behavior. Completely fell in love with this group of people I got to work with for 3 magical summers in London. We had the greatest crew in the world. I cannot.
Okay, wait. So it's a photo dump. So she must have more posts. Keep going. Is there more posts? No, because she doesn't name anybody. Okay. I was gonna say because
scenes, the dog.
Okay, yeah. Well, that I can see that.
The person she thinks is a bitch. Here, all the cast and crew. Yeah, she doesn't give a shit. I think
she's this entitled little prick. She really is. She'll learn. I don't think her career is going to last that long because she's box office poison, and it's her own fault. She is the poison apple, guys. Yeah. If you take a bite of this, you're all going to keel over because she's just box office poison, and I think she just completely, other than maybe Broadway, ruined her career.
Well, I mean, that's where she's going back to, or I don't know if she was on Broadway before or not, but she's going to Broadway. I think she'll probably lay low for a few years and then she'll kind of decrete back.
And maybe by then she'll grow up.
Maybe, and people forget who she is because look, people are gonna forget this movie in a couple of months, and it's just gonna be one of those things like, yeah, it was a huge misfire, but yeah, it's box office pro. So many media outlets trying to put a positive spin on this thing, like it's good, guys. This is actually really good. 3.5 million, fantastic.
Even Disney did. I mentioned it in my article. They put a thing out today that it's the most talked about movie of the year. Look,
yeah, that's
their spin today. It's the most talked about movie of the year. I mean, They're not lying.
They're not lying.
That's the Disney spin. We've told you about Disney spin. That is the Disney spin at play.
Yeah. They know. Like, come on. You try to do the best you can do. They got their spin doctors, but it's like they know. There's no point throwing good money after bad. This movie's going to take a beating. And after a while, you're just like, whatever.
Go back up on this article because there's some other information here that, for comparison's sake. Okay, keep going up to where I started at towards the beginning. Okay, right here. So they're saying that, okay, I mentioned the Marvels. So it's already the Marvels did almost twice as much in previews. Dumbo, which was, regarded as one of their worst Disney live action performance-wise. I've never watched it. Right. It did 2.8 million in previews, which is lower, okay? But it opened to 45.9 million, which is what they're comparing it to. All the other princess movies opened a lot above it. However, if you go down some more, the box office opening weekend was better than what they're estimating. They say Snow White will make about 100 million, maybe, right? So they said that Dumbo did 117 million. They're expecting it to maybe hit 100 million globally, maybe. Okay, they're saying pushing towards, which means they don't even know if it's going to hit 100 million. To compare that, the Marvels did 140 million and it was a bomb. Dumbo did 117 million globally its opening weekend, which is higher than what they're estimating Snow White, and it was considered a failure. And Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, which was considered even bigger failure than Dumbo, still earned 150 million globally on its opening weekend.
Yeah, I forgot there even was a second Maleficent.
Yeah, that one I think only opened domestically like 35, 36, it's on the list, million was what opened domestically, but globally it did 150 million its opening weekend. So this thing's not even expected to do as well as Dumbo, The Marvels, and Maleficent, Mistress of Evil for its opening weekend.
Yeah.
It's probably going to drop from there because I think this is their big weekend.
They know this thing is a turkey. They know it's done.
Minecraft's coming, like 2 weeks?
Minecraft, you know what? I've said since day one, I think it looks dumb, but I think it's going to make a lot of money.
The theater I was at, they decorate. They already set. They didn't do anything for Snow White. They always decorate for their big release. They did nothing for Snow White, but they were already setting up a whole Minecraft thing. They're still 2 weeks away, and they were already setting it all up.
Oh yeah, they always have it's great. They always have their employees. I don't know if they still have the employees did, but they used to do in the windows. They used to do the soap paintings or whatever.
It wasn't just that. They have literally a set. Like, remember they did with Beetlejuice? They had
Beetlejuice,
the set,
yeah.
and you can take pictures.
You go in and do the photos.
Right. Yeah. They always do this for big movie releases. Mm-hmm. They do it themselves. It's so cute. I so appreciate
a party.
them.
They make it a party.
Yeah, I appreciate them for this so much. But they make their own little set, and then you take pictures with it and everything else. It's a big thing they do. And like Jurassic, when they had Jurassic World out or whatever, they had a big like dinosaur thing. Minecraft, they have a big Minecraft tree, and they have a bee hanging from the ceiling, and they have a big creeper there, and they're getting all ready for it. They didn't do anything for Snow White. They literally stepped over it.
Yeah, they know. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows this thing is going to be a disaster. Disney's just trying to rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah, Minecraft's going. I'm actually excited about it's totally, we're going off topic here, but the Minecraft, the McDonald's collaboration they're doing because they're bringing back those McDonald Land characters again.
Yeah, I know you've been wanting those because Kneon has a thing for McDonald Land characters.
I do.
He loves the McDonald's Land characters.
Not in a weird way. Just I grew up with the McDonald Land characters and I enjoy them very much, and I'm very glad that they're back.
Right. And but I know he really likes them. So he's all excited about the toys because we'll be getting Happy Meals for him to have the toys, which is fine, but it's true. Or I'll just buy them online. But anyway, yeah, if you wanted to hear a review if you didn't see it yet, I did do a review yesterday where I basically tell you everything that happens in the movie as much as I can remember because I was trying to remember everything and there was so much to talk about.
Yeah, I just heard I didn't see the movie and she's telling me about it and I'm just sitting here like, none of this sounds like a good idea. Like if you explain this to an executive, especially at Disney and especially with hallowed ground like Snow White, I'd be like, no. Yeah, I'd be like hard pass. No, this is like Walt Disney's dream project. You're not going to do those things you're talking about and turn it into a completely different movie.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it is. But like right now, like Rotten Tomatoes has it like 45% critical score. They didn't have the audience one up earlier. They probably will later tonight or tomorrow. And then Metacritic had the critical score at like 4.8 or 5.0. I can't remember which, but the audience score had it like 1.1.
Yeah.
So it's just a train wreck and everybody's watching. It's a bonfire. Everybody's watching burn.
I remember a couple of years ago when Solo came out. I guess it's been a while now. Solo came out and people were posting.
That was like what, 2017?
Like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. It was
2018. Was it 2019? 18. I don't remember.
Somewhere in there. Anyway,
it all blends together.
We went to go see it. We actually said it was pretty okay.
Yeah, it was 2018 because we went to Celebration that year. Yeah.
That's right. We did. We were still doing the Disney stuff back then.
Yeah, we were there with Disney people. Anyway.
We were there with Disney people. They invited us out to California and everything, I think. Was that Pixar Pier? Was that the year we went out there? That was pretty fun. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we went to go see Solo and people were posting all kinds of pictures of empty theaters. And I remember the narrative on Twitter being like, you're lying, you cherry picked, you got there before anybody else, just take a picture of the theater being empty and you're liars, everybody's a liar. And it's like, no, the theaters are totally empty. And then the receipts came in on Monday and then they tried to put a good spin on it and they're like, it's the first Star Wars movie to underperform. It's like, no, it was a bomb. It was a massive bomb. It wasn't an underperformance, wasn't under expectations.
Well, you have to remember this one too, the budget is so high and that's what we think now. I think it's gonna be higher than that because they did a lot to it. And then the marketing, I can tell you, they are pushing this thing so hard. Constantly on social media, there are ads for Snow White. Every time like you turn on something, we were watching Hulu today, ad after ad for Snow White.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Disney owns it, but they consider it a different department, so they still have to pay from Disney to Hulu for the money. And it's like, they're just pushing that. You're just throwing more good money after bad at this point.
I've seen some posts. I'm not sure which countries, but people said it was the lowest opening ever for a live action Disney remake. So it's not looking good internationally either. So whatever. Good luck with that. They had time. God tried to tell them. The set burnt down and they rebuilt it. You should have just
listened to God.
Listen to God. Listen to Peter. They listened to Peter Dinklage is what happened instead of God. We're going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.